Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today, this video is about a mother bird who tries to save her kids from a snake that wants to eat them. The story will be shared from the point of view of the mother bird. I am a bird. I live high in an old tree. The tree is very tall and wide, with thick branches and plenty of leaves. It has been my home for many years. My nest is tucked away among the branches. It is soft and safe, and it is the perfect place for me and my two chicks to live. Every morning when the sun first lights, I leave the nest to go out looking for food. The forest is very big, and there are lots of different places to find food. So, I like to explore. Sometimes I find yummy caterpillars or beetles, and sometimes I find juicy worms or snake. Ha ha! I love finding snakes because they make a delicious meal for my little ones. When I have food in my mouth, I hurry back home. I like to share my food with my two chicks. They are still very little, and they need all the help they can get. Plus, they are so cute and fluffy. I love feeding them. One day, I went out looking for food, but I didn't find anything. There were no juicy worms or tasty snakes anywhere to be found. But I wasn't worried. I knew I would find something eventually. As I flew around looking for food, I heard some other birds chirping. They were making a strange sound, a sound I had never heard before. At first, I couldn't figure out what it was. Then I realized that they were making a noise to warn each other about something dangerous. I didn't know what was so dangerous, but I decided to follow the sound and see what was going on. When I followed the sound, I saw a big black snake slithering along the ground. The snake was really big and scary, and it made me feel very nervous. I wanted to fly away, but I couldn't. I was glued to the ground. I couldn't move. As I watched the snake slither by, I saw something that made me even more nervous. The snake was heading straight for my tree. What did the snake want? Why was it coming to my tree? I didn't know what to do. I was scared and nervous, and I didn't know what to do next. I started thinking about my two little chicks. They were so small and innocent, and I didn't want anything bad to happen to them. If the snake found them, it would be over for them. I had to do something to protect my babies. As the snake got closer to my tree, I could see its eyes. Its eyes were cold and heartless, and they made me feel very uncomfortable. The snake was getting closer and closer, and I could see its mouth. Its mouth was filled with sharp teeth, and I knew it could easily bite me and my chicks if it wanted to. The snake finally stopped slithering, and it raised its head up in the air. It took a deep breath, and then it started climbing up my tree. Oh no! What was the snake doing? Was it climbing up my tree to get to my chicks? I didn't know what to do. I was so scared. As the snake climbed higher and higher up the tree, I could see its scales. Its scales were shiny and black, and they glistened in the sunlight. The snake was almost at my nest now, and I could hear it slithering in the branches. I had to do something. I had to protect my chicks. I started flapping my wings, and I started screaming as loud as I could. I hoped the snake would hear me and go away. Maybe it didn't want to be disturbed. The snake stopped slithering, and it turned its head towards me. I could see its eyes staring at me, and I could see its mouth opening and closing slowly. I was scared, but I had to do something. I had to protect my chicks. I flew down and I started attacking the snake. I pecked and scratched and bit as hard as I could. I hoped to drive the snake away, but it just kept coming at me. It didn't seem to care about my attacks. I flew back up and I started screaming again. I hoped my chicks wouldn't be scared, but I wasn't sure. I could hear the snake slithering around in the branches, and I could see it getting closer and closer. I attacked the snake again, but this time, it didn't back down. It lunged at me and it bit me in the wing. I screamed in pain and I fell to the ground. I lay on the ground for a moment and I could feel the blood trickling down my wing. I had to do something. I had to get away. I tried to flap my wings and I tried to fly up, but I couldn't. I was too weak. The snake was coming closer and closer, and I could feel its hot breath on my face. I could see its sharp teeth, and I could hear it hissing. I knew it was going to bite me again. I closed my eyes tight, and I waited for the pain to start, but it never came. I opened my eyes and I looked over at the snake. It wasn't there anymore. I looked down at my wing and I saw that it was bleeding, but I wasn't hurt. The snake hadn't bitten me. I stood up and I looked around me. Where was the snake? Where had it gone? I couldn't see it anywhere. I felt very tired and weak. I didn't know what to do next. I tried to fly up to my nest, but I couldn't. I was too tired. I sat down on a branch and I tried to rest. I didn't know what was going to happen next. After a while, I felt a little better. I wasn't as tired or weak as before, but I still couldn't fly. I looked down at my wing and I saw that it was healing. The snake hadn't bitten me very hard, and my wing would be fine soon. I started to feel hungry, and I knew I had to go out and find some food, but I was still scared. What if the snake came back? What if it attacked me again? I didn't know what to do. I sat on the branch for a while longer, and then I decided to go out and find some food. I had to do it. My chicks needed me to bring them food. I took off and I started flying around. I looked everywhere for some food, but I couldn't find anything. I was starting to get very hungry. I decided to go back home. Maybe I would have better luck tomorrow. I flew back to my tree and I started climbing up to my nest. When I got to my nest, I saw my two chicks. They were looking at me with their big, innocent eyes. I felt very protective of them. I had to do anything to protect them. I had nothing to give them, though. I hadn't found any food. I felt bad because they must have been hungry, but I didn't know what to do. Suddenly, I remembered that I had seen a big black snake near my tree earlier. I wondered if it had come back. Maybe it had brought my chicks some food. I went to the edge of my nest and I looked down. I couldn't see the snake, but I did see something else. I saw a small snake lying on the ground. The small snake was black and shiny, and it was exactly the same color as the snake I had seen earlier. I wondered if it was the same snake. The small snake started slithering towards my tree again. I watched it closely, and I saw that it was carrying something in its mouth. It was carrying a dead bird. The snake had brought my chicks food. It had killed a bird and brought it to my chicks. How thoughtful! I felt very grateful to the snake. It had saved my chicks. Without the snake, my chicks would have starved. The snake slithered up to my nest and it dropped the dead bird in front of my chicks. The snake then slithered away and I watched it go. I felt very lucky. My chicks were alive. They had food to eat. And the snake had left us alone. I hope the snake never comes back. But if it does, I won't be afraid. I will protect my chicks. That is my job as a mother. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you enjoyed it.